Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another scene set in Living World of Darkness, a rage across New York. It's a werewolf venue. Clues in the rage. Tonight, today, this morning, I don't know. This afternoon. We set the scene with Jacob Kai, the Master of Challenges at a Scepter the Green, who is paying a visit to Belvedere Castle to get something to eat. He does actually come here to eat every now and again. The food is good, and the restaurant is run by kinfolk. Um, so it's a good place to relax, hang out in an area that's at least somewhat semi-veil safe, but not really. And he has just recently got off duty from work, and is just heading towards the bar to make an order that will be quite swift, refreshing, really, given how his rage causes people to recoil around him. And he sees all the familiar faces. A lot of people say hi to him as he enters. He says hi back to them, and yeah, he'll begin issuing his order, which is just a lot of steak, just a whole lot of it.
Well, you've got Icarus. He's already sitting there. Uh, he came in to kind of chat, catch up with some of the kinfolk, and currently he's playing a game of just cards. Nothing too terribly serious. Him and one of the other kinfolk, they've got various items for trade. Actually, not money, but just random things that they found as a form of currency. Um,
Okay.
when he hears people saying hi, he'll turn and he'll look back and he'll briefly ask the kinfolk who's that, which the kinfolk will respond in kind, exactly who he is. And he'll be like, oh, haven't met him before. Should
Mm.
probably say hi. So he will do his Forrest Gump wave of hello, and then he'll wait for further acknowledgement.
Yeah, Jacob kind of um, not his face, but his eyes do something of a double take glance towards you as he gets waved over. Um, just looks at you briefly. Doesn't seem to recognize you. Um, Jacob Icarus you've probably heard of mainly because of his rank and also because of his position on Sept. Um, Mainly because Gara will probably be meeting the Master of Challenges several times during their stay,
True.
just because
You
that's
know,
how they work, yo.
yes.
um, and he has something of history. In fact, the kinfolk would definitely know him because he's basically responsible for a lot of good things that happen to them. So including even creating a Bill of Rights for them. That was nice. Uh, so yeah, and you can smell the pure breed on him pretty easily because free pure breed is kind of a lot. Um, but he'll head over to you, and he is dressed as he is in the overlay. He's dressed like a police officer, although I think his badge driver. I think it's no, it's his stripes would suggest a higher rank than just that of mere officer if he's paying attention to that sort of thing.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, he'll just head on over.
Yeah. Oh, hey, sorry. Heard about you. Never met you before. Pull up a seat. We're just gonna finish this real quick game of poker, and I guess if you haven't eaten, I haven't met you, so I wanted to introduce myself. I would say I'm at the low man on the totem pole. It's kind of a joke because I'm a bone Gnawer and a cub, but no, seriously. Sorry, I get really flustered when I meet like higher ranking people. Not like Cliffs or like Foster's. That's like they're like closer, but you're like big man on campus. Not campus. I'm gonna stop. Let me finish this game real quick. Sorry. Yeah. So it's he'll look back at his cards because you can clearly see he's gotten exceptionally flustered, but also pretty excited to meet you.
Cool. That's okay. Finish your game and we can talk. What's your name?
It's Icarus. Kind of a joke I think my mom had on herself and me. But Icarus, possibly Boner. I haven't gone the rite of passage, but I think that's where I'm leaning towards. Pretty sure. Galliard and Hamid. Yes, I got it all right this time. Name's Icarus, Galliard, Cub of the Sept. Not yet Boner. There we go. Pleasure to meet you.
Heard we got some new cubs. You missed something out there.
Oh, did I say I was a Hamid? I said I was a Hamid. I said I was a Galliard. Did I miss saying I was a Galliard? Pretty sure. God, I was a Galliard. And he'll go back. He'll like start pointing his fingers. Just he'll try to go over everything. Names: Icarus, Galliard, Cup, Hamid, Sept of the Green. Sept of the Green.
You always submit to those of higher station.
Huh?
Submission to those of higher station.
Oh, sorry, I was interrupting.
Usually it's just a simple gesture. Traditionalists prefer you expose your neck. Many among my people just prefer a straight bow.
So, do you want me to bow? I mean,
No, I don't really mind. Cool. Actually, what I usually do is I just have people do it the first time, and then we can ignore the formalities past that point.
Okay. All right, yeah, I will remember this. Bare the neck or bow.
Pretty much.
Yes. Okay, I can do this. It's a lot to remember.
We're not a simple people.
Oh, yeah. The only thing that was easier was yesterday. But I'm sorry, I'm keeping you from getting food. But by the time you come back, we should be done. I think I have a good hand.
That's okay. Good. I'll just let him know to bring it to his table. It's fine. I've been good at poker anyway, so be interesting to see how you do.
Well, yeah. He'll quickly turn back and they'll both show hands, and he lost, which is just kind of what it is. He laughs, and he helps shovel the pile of goodies over, and we're like, "That was a good game. Next time I'll be better. Thank you for teaching. A lot of fun. Don't really play much poker, to the kinfolk, and then he'll draw his attention back to you. Sorry, it was trying to learn more gaming things. Didn't do a whole lot of this. I mean, I did, but it was more of a moment. It was more of we played card games, but not poker. So this is something I wanted to put in my arsenal of things that I knew. And he was really nice to explain it to me. I played a few rounds. Sure, I lost some things, but I gained some knowledge. Pretty cool.
Fair enough. So how long you been? You, so to speak?
2 months. 2 months? Yes, 2 months now, or just about 2 months. I had my first change sometime in late May, and came up here. learning the ropes, trying to stay out of trouble, try to observe a lot, ask a bunch of questions, make sure I'm not getting into too much trouble or sanctioned trouble, I guess. Rather not rock the boat.
Fair enough.
How I guess if it's appropriate to ask, how long have you been a guru, or rather, you've been here? I mean, they're both honest questions. I think
We're
they
fallen
both.
in the same, really. Been a girl a couple of years. No, it's not a couple of years. About 3 years now.
Okay. Ooh.
So I've been moving pretty quickly.
What was that?
So I've been moving pretty quickly.
Oh, it's all good. I mean, it comes, I guess, with territory, or not.
Except for the green is very much ride or die.
Oh, I mean, we're right here in the thick of like one of the busiest cities in the world. I mean, I expected, expect it makes sense. We're also fairly busy, fairly either you're in or you're out.
Pretty much. There's never really a dull moment.
No, man, you could like, well, like I'm like from like across like the ferry. I lived in Jersey all my life, so I mean, you always see bright lights and day in day out and all sorts of people coming in and out of the city. So I mean, it's only like I said, it's only a small skip to jump from where I'm from, but still, it's almost like a whole new world. You can go out in the morning, like 2 o'clock in the morning, and be like, hey, I want some food, and there's lots of places to eat, not just a McDonald's, but pizza and burgers and fries, and depending on what part of the how far you're willing to walk, will depend on what sort of food you'll find. And don't even get me started on all like the clothing stuff. That's a lot. I mean, like, how do people have all these clothing stores, and how do people have how they all stay open? That's my thing. It's like, how does everyone stay open? And everything's on top of each other. Hmm. It's weird. I mean, it's not, but it looks weird. Like now that you see it from like a different side, like where you can go like the Umbra, you can like really see things differently. It's just like, how do people how do they not know? It's so bizarre. Kind of makes you wonder if all the people who are crazy were actually really crazy, or like they saw the stuff that we saw and they just can't handle it. You know?
That's what the delirium is.
No. Oh shit.
Do you know what the delirium is?
A little bit. A little bit. I've heard of it. I mean, I haven't really seen it in action. It's kind of one of those like I know a bit of it. I know a bit of it. I know you shouldn't be going out walking around in Krynos. That'll definitely freak people out. You definitely shouldn't do that. No one's gonna believe there's a giant wolf man and you know, oh, it's just entertainment. It's not real. I mean,
Unless they catch it on camera, but then that's what the glasswalkers are good for.
yeah, that is true. You gotta get somebody to speak a good, spin a good tale and such. You might be able to make it go away, but then of course you had people who conspiracy theorists who are all like, yeah, but I don't believe that. So you know, I almost pity the people who go crazy because it's like they didn't deserve it. But on the flip side, I'm like, does they even really deserve to go crazy? It's just like not like, hmm. I feel like it's one of those moral questions. I'm getting ahead of myself. I I like I like to pose questions out loud a lot.
I noticed.
My mom was a lawyer, so we did a lot of like back and forth debates about like lots of different stuff.
Interesting. My mum's a lawyer.
Oh no shit.
Hmm.
That's so cool.
Yeah, works in civil
Yeah.
law though, not criminal.
Yeah, that was my mom. My mom she passed away a couple years ago, so sickness does what it does. But no, yeah, we she would she would come home with cases, and we'd sit at the table and we talk about them and stuff. Or when we were at the shelter, when she could bring home cases, we'd all sit and discuss what she was allowed to talk about, public knowledge stuff. And well, we couldn't give her like quote aid, but having a listening ear and posing questions that she might not have thought about, it was a lot of fun. Definitely a lot of stuff out there. I wonder if she knew all the stuff, I'm learning now. Would she enjoy it? And I'm sure she would. She was a pretty cool lady. Does your mom work in the city, or does she like work somewhere else? Do you like visit her? I know. I'm sorry. It's really
She works
nosy.
here.
Oh, cool.
She works here. No, we no, she's Ken. She's around. Maybe you'll bump into her one day. Probably will, to be
That'd be
honest.
that'd be so cool. Could ask her questions about some of the cases I've been following.
What
Nothing like
cases?
really serious. Nothing serious. Usually just the ones on the public docket or anything like that. The ones you can kind of sit in. Nothing like really like criminal or anything like that. I'm always just curious to see, just look at the law and see how different people think about it and things like that.
Fair enough. Well, it's pretty obvious what I do, I guess. I run Manhattan's East Side precinct. Upper East Side to be specific, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. I have to remember this.
Been pretty handy. Please try not to fuck with the police in my area. That would be nice.
Well, that'd be kind of messed up. I mean, do people do that? Well, I mean, I shouldn't say people because we're not really people, but do other Gru do that? I mean,
If they fuck up, yes.
ah, yeah. Nah.
That's kind of what my connections are for.
Mm,
To be
yeah.
fair, most Garo don't really go to the lengths I've gone to building those connections. Either see it as a liability or not really worth the investment.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's no risk, there's no gain. So, but, uh,
Ultimately, we're here to fight a war, not necessarily hoard power.
uh, but every advantage is important necessarily. Not necessarily. Well, taking the advantages as you see them, but not necessarily hoarding the advantages is always a good idea. If you can use it to your advantage, good. But if you don't need it, there's no reason to keep it. I guess the whole need thing comes in. It's like, how much do you need versus how much do you want?
I mean, I certainly tend to hold on to it. It's been very handy in covering up various veil breaches.
Mm-hmm.
I'd recommend you build some of those connections, to be honest. Maybe not to the same extent I have. I've had the advantage of starting off in that particular sphere.
Yeah, you started yourself on the right foot, where the rest of us are trying to find said foot.
Yeah. Oh, Yeah, I was quite fortunate in that regard. How's your first change? Did it go alright?
Oh, no. Ah, um, I lost my family. Not like my family. My mom was like my only like blood family, but I was supposed to come up here before. Well, not I don't know necessarily the sept, but my aunt called and told me I should probably head up this direction. She's gonna come and get me. So I went. I went to the shelter. Uh, we got kicked out of the house. My mom and me were homeless for a while, which not like oh man, whatever we'll do for our next meal, but more so like oh, just don't have a home right now, kind of ordeal. Start you can see he starts to fidget about it, but I went to go say goodbye to everybody. I had to make a detour before I got there, and there was an explosion, so I can't hear a little bit. I sometimes it just someone will say something I might not catch it, but it was I mean it was sad and a lot going on, and I woke up not there anymore, and I was there. There was an explosion. I wasn't there anymore. I came back, and then I found my way up here. Uh, but yeah, it's been weird. It's been weird, losing family, making new family, kind of ordeal. Not realizing what you are, finding out this is what you are, and 101 questions are, if I had known, would it have changed anything? But I don't think it would have. I think it would have all ended the same way. Well, yes and no. I mean, he'll stop fidgeting and he'll put his hands in his lap. Uh, it wasn't a good change, but I'm making it a better experience, I should say. I've met Havica and Milo and Iron's Grass, Moses, Fire in the Hole. Here comes the boom. Um, I've seen some other people whose names escape me. Dorian. Dorian's really cool.
I heard about
Er,
Dorian.
yeah, he's super cool. He's nice. He's okay. I say super cool, super nice. I think we live together, so I mean it'd be ill to talk about a roommate. He's nice. He cleans up after himself. He doesn't really you don't poach on each other's rooms. So it's pretty cool people. I'm sure I've seen other people wandering around. Names escape me. Oh, there's Zelda, not to be confused with the video game Zelda. But don't tell her I was compared her to a video game. She might kill me. She has that look like she'd kill somebody. But yeah. No, I mean, like I said, so far it's been a really positive experience. Met some really nice people. I hope to one day find out what happened with everybody. I mean, I'm sure, they're probably, I would say cremated, but they've probably already been, written off as, well, that was a terrible experience. And, these things can't happen, but I'd like to know what happened. So definitely something I'll eventually look into when I'm stronger, when I'm capable, when I'm not so upset or angry. I'm angry, but I'm also realistic, I guess, about it. Everyone dies.
You're always gonna be angry. That's part of being a guru.
Yeah. Yeah, I just don't. We got nice people here. Don't want to take my anger out on them. They didn't do it. They were involved in it. So, gotta, if I get angry, find a nearest bunch of woods and trees and just take my anger out on those. Or, go to the Emperor and, scream about it. One of the two.
Try not to hit the sapling I'm working on.
Hmm?
Try not to hit the sapling I'm working on. I like that sapling.
Oh, well, I mean, I won't do it on the SEP. That's just well, nah, I probably would, but I'll try to
You
make
gotta do
sure.
it on a sub. Don't do it off sub, Jesus.
Huh?
Don't do it off sub, Jesus.
What is going on? Well, yeah, that's true. Sure. What about you though? What about you? I would imagine your first change was not nearly as adventurous and explosive. I'm sure.
Hmm. My first change was my family never knew I was a Garo. In fact, they didn't know they were kinfolk. I, at the time, was just living a fairly regular life. Was in police academy. Was about a couple of weeks off from graduating to a proper officer. It's real good friends of my supervisor. He was he's the guy that would kick your shit in for breaking procedure, but he's also the sort of guy that would invite you to dinner like every weekend for with his family. He's a really nice guy, and he'd sort of taken me under his wing. And we were just doing a fairly regular patrol until we got a call. There had been a hold up at a 7-Eleven or something. And no one else is around, so we gotta go in there alone. So we pull up, see a crowd of people outside, which isn't helping. And we sneak in, find out that they got the cashier and several other people hostage. So he not seeing any other opportunity and me not really seeing an opening in front of three heavily armed people with guns, he decides to distract him and send me out to rescue the hostages, which we actually do. But just as I get out of the building, I start hearing gunshots going off. So I rush back in almost as quickly.
Oh gosh.
I got my supervisor on the ground. He's taken several shots. And then right in front of me, they pull him up by the hair, slit his throat, and cut out his tongue. Then there were no three heavily armed men. But there were a bunch of Garu when I woke up.
Yeah.
Needless to say, I was kind of in shock, so it took some convincing and a bit of cajoling to get me to go back with them.
Yeah.
But, yeah, then I get introduced to Gerard Morningkill. No, the guy in High King, funnily enough.
Yeah.
And he kind of shows me what's what. He was the truth catcher at the time, which is why I ended up meeting him. And yeah, I become a cub. We find out I have Silverfang heritage, and we kind of just go from there.
I'm really sorry. Mm. Losing people sucks. Close people. People who should have lived a long, long life and grown old and I had grandkids and great grandkids and really sorry.
I'd like to think I did right by him. Yeah. That was my first change. It was ironically one of the less violent for ones that have occurred in the world. Only 3 bodies, as opposed to, I think the highest I've seen is 15.
Hmm.
Yeah, we haven't always had the, but we go down with the best of luck.
No. No. Doesn't seem like we have. And
But things are working out now.
yeah.
I'm an agent, I'm the captain of my own precincts. I'm even married. Didn't figure that would happen so soon.
That's cool. There's I'm assuming she also is a kinfolk.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Her dad's the beta of a Scepter of Frostbite on the border of Canada. He's a pretty cool guy. Going to meet him is actually how I earned my clave.
Mm.
He just kind of, actually, no, he wouldn't have his clave on him because he's just gone off work.
Yeah, you said a clave. That's one of the he'll try to measure it out with his hands. One of those really nice swords, right?
They range from daggers to short swords. Grand claves are proper arming swords to great swords.
Oh, okay. Huh. Learn something new every day.
Hmm.
I've heard of them. I just always assumed they're just like long swords. And it's really cool.
They're fetishes. one of our most powerful artifacts, actually. Having a clave is a great honor. It's not something I take for granted.
Hmm. So, not just try to best better know more about society. How does one? I doubt they're just laying around for anybody, their mom, their cousin to pick up. But how does one uh, acquire, I guess, a grand clave?
A grand clave, Jesus. Even I don't know
Oh,
what a
not
grand
oh
clave.
God, no. I don't see this. I'm sorry, a clave. I don't. I feel like grand clave's way up there for like elders plus, and there's something past elder. Yeah, legendaries. Huh. Yes, remembered. I'm getting this down. I'm getting this down. How does one, I guess, get one? Not that you can just magically just ask for one and one should appear.
Hmm. I can tell you my story. Um, with that, I just need to switch computers briefly. I'll be right back.
Okay.
BRB for 5 minutes.
Okie dokie.
Rabble, rabble, rabble. Okay, there we go.
Welcome back.
Sorry about that. No, Jacob actually, when he says I can tell you the story, he'll actually go back and say, my apologies, that's actually not true. I can't tell you my story.
A woman. Yeah, I'm running around eating a burger. Yeah. Sorry about that.
No problem. No, Jacob literally says, that's actually wrong, I can't tell you my story. Sorry about
It's all good.
that. That's how to put it. There's a lot of there are a few major powers and promises involved that prevent me from speaking on that particular topic. Largely, I can speak of some things. I believe I may not speak of a place. I may speak of what happened to an extent.
All right.
The clade's called. My weapon is called Silver Blood and Fire, named after the three trials it involved. I was attacked with silver, had to destroy a Nexus crawler, and had to face a very literal trial by fire to determine my worth.
That's pretty intense.
It was. You don't know what a Nexus crawler is, do you?
I'm no, but I'm no. I've not heard of one. Oh no, I imagine it's something very much like Resident Evil, kind of esque.
Not really.
Well, then I definitely don't know what it is.
It's far more dangerous than anything out of that fiction. Let's just say even a weak Nexus crawler can warp reality. A strong one could temporarily break it, I suppose.
Why would?
Let's just say when I faced mine, it attempted to transmute our fur into silver.
Wow.
They can just change things.
Oh.
The nature of things, it's strange. They're one of the most powerful spirits the worm can throw at you. They're extremely dangerous. Usually it takes whole packs. I say packs, not a pack, packs to bring them down. I had to. I had to fight one.
Yes.
This is why. Yeah, I'm talking. Christopher, one moment.
There's a bigger one.
Sorry. Something literally like stole me away. I put my phone down and was just like, now we got to race. But that's to avoid Nexus crawlers if at all possible. Is that, can you avoid them? Is it smart to avoid them? Should we take them out when we see them?
So right again, Jesus, getting interrupted a lot to see. Jacob just says, it took me and Hera's redeeming daughter. She's the beta of, she's my former packmate, my former alpha, and the current beta of the Sept of the Sentinel. It was me and her that brought it down.
Wow.
I can't really describe their appearance to you, they always appear different. I've seen a couple now. They're distinct. I haven't seen a couple. Actually, I remember the last time we fought one. It was a long time ago. It was when we entered the hellhole in Staten Island. There were several there. Managed to bring one down, force another to flee. With a couple of packs out.
Right. Wow.
To be fair, I shouldn't come across as so. I don't know if I come across as proud. Do I come across as proud? I don't really know. It's kind of good to remain grounded, I think.
Yeah.
I don't want to come across as if I'm bragging. I'm really just trying to state what I've done.
No. How will I know if you don't tell me about these things?
It's true. To be fair, these are actions that you'll probably end up performing at some point. Or not, I suppose. Depends. I think that's the thing in Guru society. You kind of have to perform these acts if you wish to advance. If you wish to be more respected, you have to push further.
Yeah.
Of course, that comes with a very high turnover rate.
I look at it as more of a crash course in telling me what I could be and should be expecting.
Now, this is a pretty extreme example. My clave. So I don't know how many Bone Gnawer, how many claves the Bone Gnawers have, but I'm willing to guess very, very. Well, actually, no, I give myself knowledge maybe because Jacob is Garu level 4 and Intelligence 5, so he has 9 dice to these sorts of things. I'm willing to bet not many. I don't know the actual number, but I know the Bone Gnawers have traditionally held very few claves because they're generally considered marks of royalty or great prestige. And the fact that they're also silver weapons can be a turn on for a lot of people. But the silver fangs and the shuttles traditionally have always held for the most. I know the Fianna and the Fenrir prefer different sorts of weaponry. I know the Fenrir prefer their iron hammers, and the Fianna have some very interesting weapons that are cool. Cool one. I think I remember one being some sort of axe that could strike at anything. And I remember they had some sort of spear, I believe it was based on the Irish myth, or perhaps it was the Irish myth, of I cannot pronounce his name correctly, but the legendary spearman. Incredible Knight, if I recall. You actually get the name. I'm not going to say it because it is heavily Irish and I would butcher it.
It's alright.
But it is actually probably one of the most infamous Irish myths. I can't remember the name of the guy in how to get. I'm going to find it. Come on, Google, work with me. Just gonna find it. This PC is slow as hell. Okay, I'm probably pronouncing this wrong. It was Chilane?
I don't know.
Klein? Kulian? I fucked that up. But yeah, pretty famous. He wasn't a knight. He was a demigod. I'm also a member of the Tuatha De Danann.
Mm-hmm.
So Irish god. But yeah, Bone Gnawer is. I think you guys have always. Well, I say you guys. You might be something different. But Bone Gnawer is your more like the castle because always favouring the cutting edge in some sense. I know Mother Larissa has a black hole fetish. That's new to me. Well, not new to me, but she's very much a very unconventional form of weaponry. But yes, you're probably not going to be going on a journey like mine. If you join the Bone Gnawers, you're probably actually going to be going on polar opposite journeys. Just because our tribe is so inherently different.
Well, yeah. That's that would be
And our auspices are different. Which actually reminds me, I kind of did about it. I never actually formally introduced myself, but yeah, you already know who I am, I suppose.
that, and I did ramble on and did not give you much in the way to properly introduce yourself. For that, I do apologize.
That's true, I do have rank. I can make these excuses and get away with it, I suppose.
It's a lesson to be learned
Mm.
for myself more so than anyone else.
Good. Do as I say, not as I do. That and you're also a Galliard, I'm a Philodox, so our roles within society are different. Of course, that can always change.
True.
Although the word of renunciation is not something that's ever taken lightly, and I would not perform it lightly. I do consider myself something of a radical reformist, but I tend to. I would need a good reason. I would not accept somebody renouncing their auspice based on emotion or faulty rationale. Rejecting Luna's choice is not something I would advise most people to do. But it is ultimately a choice that is given to people. So I think your journey is more going to involve the city itself. Getting into the thick of things, and we'll get into the thick of things. We are really going to be in the thick of things. We're going to be in the trenches, and you're going to be looking for things, and you're going to be looking for stories. Be it our stories, people's stories, or the stories of the enemy that may be weaponized against them.
What was that?
He would say all the stories of the enemy that they might be weaponized against them.
Yes, the more people hear about the stories of our enemies, the better people can arm themselves with knowledge of how to defeat them, how to overcome them, how to outsmart them.
To an extent, I normally disdain the phrase, a little knowledge is a dangerous thing. But for the worm, it is literally true. Knowledge of the worm can warp and break the mind just by being extant in your mind. It is an inherently corrupting force. Its very concept, it is conceptually entropic. So possessing this knowledge requires a powerful will. I have, even I, who am fairly educated on the enemy, and once ran into a book. It's a very powerful and dangerous book. It sat on the throne of the Caliph of Pain, Rabble's chained to it. After acquiring it, even touching it forced me to summon every fibre of my being to resist its pull. Tried to twist and break my mind into some obsessive compulsive state to possess the book and think of nothing else. I was an age. That was when I was an angel, as I am now. And there were people there who wanted to read it, and I told them no, because just touching this book is damaging my mind. To read it,
Yeah.
is incredibly dangerous. That is something that should be left to veteran theurges, those who have specialized, who have prepared themselves. In other words, not us.
Yeah, I don't. I'm all about letting the dead stay right where they are. I will tell their story, but I will.
I mean, you can prepare yourself. You can prepare yourself. It's something that can be done. Again, I have knowledge of the great enemy. It's been incredibly useful. But it is something that, if there's any doubt you're ready for it, probably aren't. And if you don't have doubt, you should probably doubt first. Because there are plenty of stories of Gara falling into the worm's clutches because they were too proud to, they weren't ready for something. But it's a complicated issue. Knowledge of the worm, knowledge of the weaver of the wild.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that knowledge change people. Because ultimately we're dealing with something that it's not a physical entity. It is, but it's not. It is something conceptual. It is something built into the fabric of reality.
Yeah.
That's why I was kind of called the apocalypse line in this. Because the fight is to challenge reality itself. It is to challenge a fundamental aspects of the universe. At least in theory. To be honest, I'm getting into metaphysics now. It's not a really healthy place to be with. That's something really the Fiaches are better at than I.
No, Jen, no.
To be honest, I might be entirely wrong. A Fiach can tell you more about the worm than I can.
What did you say?
To be honest, I might be entirely wrong. A Fiach can tell you more about the worm than I can. All I know is that you can't destroy the worm just by destroying its forces. You need to effectively, to cleanse the worm, you need to cleanse the world.
One area at a time, I guess.
One area at a time. It's ultimately a war that will last, long after we're gone. Some people think these are the end times. I disagree. Considering how many times he fended off apocalypse. I remember King Isaiah fended off apocalypse. I remember the kings before him fended off apocalypse. Queen Tavarovich fended off apocalypse just a couple decades ago in Russia. And destroyed the Zemay.
Wow.
We fought against. We faced worse odds before, and we'll beat them again. I would consider this less a battle of bodies and more it is a battle of hearts and minds in many ways, but not necessarily what we're built for. Doesn't hurt to try that. Childagar are certainly giving it a fair go. I'd like to think my tribe is doing his part as well. But yeah, it's Actually, I was going to ask, have you seen combat yet?
Have I seen who?
Combat.
Yes. I got to go to the hospital that
Oh yes, that's right. I heard your name.
Yeah.
Yahavika sent back a message, and it kind of took us a while to kind of decode what he was trying to say.
Yeah, we found out there was I think they called them sleepwalkers. We had to destroy them both in the Umbra and also the Real. So at the same time, or as close to the same time as possible, so that they didn't keep getting back up.
Sleepwalkers are tricky, but aren't too dangerous. Guess it was fairly fortunate that you were brought on that mission as opposed to some of the others I've seen.
Yeah.
When I was a cub, my first instance of true combat was facing down a fully grown silverfang with a clave. That wasn't fun. It's actually kind of funny. My first taste of combat was against my own people, who decided to declare war on this set.
Oh, well,
It's been dealt with. Those responsible have ultimately met an untimely end. Unfortunately, their actions had implications across the continent of Europe, because they decided it would be a clever idea to move the entirety of their fucking population to America just to kill us. So when they got their asses kicked, and the few dozen that were left, if that, had to slink off back to Europe, a hellhole had opened up, because they were now too weak to defend themselves.
God gracious.
So there's a lesson to be learned from those idiots.
That's
In spite of a lot of criticism, I do have a lot of good to say about my tribe, but that is not one of them, and it is something I'll never even attempt to defend. In fact, it is something I'll happily throw in the face of us gleaming at until the day I die. Because it was a mistake that not only cost them their lives, it was a mistake that cost many lives of Garon the Scepter Green. It is something that cost Gaia. It is something that empowered the worm, because they decided that they wanted more power, justified under the veil of questions, investigations, and police work. False police work and propaganda. And I have no tolerance for that shit. So yeah. Fortunately, I took his clave and I fucking killed him.
well,
I didn't get to keep it, and that was kind of fair. I did wish I did, because I took him. I literally. I took his clave arm and then literally beat him with it.
This is my clave. Not anymore. It isn't.
I don't usually respond to acts of violence so casually, but it happened a while ago, and they have truly earned my ire. So and that's not easy.
No.
I try to be even-handed, if only because my auspice demands it. So I have to be. Helps that I want to be, but I have to be. So I feel like most of the time people have to go out of their way if they want to make an enemy out of me. Even these new packs, Blood Eclipse and his group, the Silver Tusks, seem to have pissed off a lot of people on sets, but
yeah.
I don't really know too much about them, so I'm willing to give them a shot. They did give, Blood Eclipse did give Hanukkah an earful. Granted, there was a point to be made, he wasn't being clear on what he was saying to us, but it was a bit unnecessary.
I don't like them. They're Havaka and I decided on territory that no one had claimed, and all of a sudden now they want it. So we're gonna have a
You mean Harlem?
friendly vote.
You mean Harlem? They're claiming parts of Harlem.
Yes. Yeah, over by Hell's Kitchen along that area. Yeah.
Actually, Hell's Kitchen is where we declared territory. I didn't. If they're claiming territory running all the way down to Hell's Kitchen, that's a lot of turf to cover. I thought they were just going to claim Harlem.
No, apparently. Well, that's so he'll try to like mentally plot it out, and he'll start run his finger. The area is roughly around down to where we are. I don't think all of Hell's Kitchen is claimed, because that's the area we decided on. And I think
No. Yeah, because I believe the Beta has a place in Hell's Kitchen. I don't think she'd allow that. That's kind of background, but I'll double check.
Yeah.
I know a lot of territories are kind of up in the air right now. It's being settled, but it's clearer than it was a couple of weeks ago, but it's not immediately clear where everybody is yet. I know me and Roy are claiming Randall's Island.
Right. I heard about that.
Yeah. It's fairly close to where I operate, and it covers a small part of where it covers, I believe it covers part of East Harlem, which is somewhere where Roy's invested, so it kind of works out for both of us. Gives us a lot of freedom of movement, and yeah. Andy. It worked out pretty well for us in the end. Or at least I think it's going to. But yeah. These silver tusks, don't really know too much about them. They do seem abrasive, but I don't think they're entirely without hope. They have showed restraint to a degree.
Yeah.
Roland, who's thinking here, I can't remember, it annoys me. It's Mortis's character. He put him on the back foot pretty cleverly. I'm not sure if he intended it, but it was clever. And kind of showed him how to operate a bit of restraint, which is good. I know Moses doesn't like him at all.
Yeah. I've met them all briefly. They look like butch people that are all, don't mess with me. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'll be over there doing my thing over there.
I think they're trying too hard to act through strength. You can't. You can't see solutions that don't involve strength, and you're just erasing half the options from the get-go. That will bite them in the long run. Can't rely on brute force, particularly in this city. You can't take on the entirety of the city by yourselves, not even as a pack. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. There's too much unsaid, too much not yet not explored, or who only knows what's out there. I mean, I doubt we're the only supernatural creatures out here. We've got to rely on each other to keep our city safe.
The veil's too fragile.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do not want to have to be wasting my time collecting bodies from these guys that are obviously our breaches. I have no interest in that. If that becomes an issue, that's going to come up. Because I have no intention of being their janitor. But I am presuming a lot. That is assuming that they are going to fuck up and that this is going to become an issue. I hope it doesn't. I do want to give them a chance. I know many have already withdrawn their hand, and perhaps for good reasons, perhaps for bad reasons. But I don't know enough about them to make a judgment call yet. They seem to at least have a base idea of what they're doing, so at least a lot of them didn't become foster just by being idiots.
Yes.
They just seem to act with a bit too much bravado, and it bothers me. But that ultimately, if they don't want to be friends with anybody, that's fine. They can still be worked with, and they can be worked around. In a way, their own. It's kind of strange how political they are in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're not. They seem to have a very mixed right approach. But that in and of itself causes political tension. That has to be worked with all around. But it also turns them into blunt objects, so we'll see. We'll see. I will assume Blood Eclipse is smarter than that, and that his pack is smarter than that. His beta's already shown, not his beta, I think so. What's the name of the Fenrir OC? I'll just say, the Fenrir seems to understand restraint. She actually backed off a challenge to prevent herself from risking her pack's territory. Which I didn't expect her to do. Because I was right there, I was willing to put that challenge on the table, and she may have won. But she understood it wasn't worth pursuing, which I can respect.
Yeah.
I guess at the end of the day I'm rambling a bit, but I guess what I'm trying to say is they might be dicks, they might not be dicks, but if they are dicks, they're still dicks you can work with.
Well, if they really want the territory so bad and they can pry it from us, well, then I guess the better guru is taking it, but begrudgingly I'll accept, but I won't just hand it over to them.
No, contested ground should be dealt with via challenge. If I find out that there's an interscene pack war happening offset, I'm going to intervene. People don't want that to happen. You don't want the Asian armed with silver to be intervening in your conflict. That's the last thing people are going to want. Particularly an agent who's on the cusp of becoming even more powerful than he already is, Jesus. I mean, if I was a clear, I certainly wouldn't fucking want that. That's like me asking, that's like me as I am asking the high guy in King to get involved in my dispute. Like, nobody wants that. That's a terrible fucking idea.
No, not at all. I would sooner do something else. I would sooner just step back and just would rather not.
Because this may come across as arrogant, but I do honestly think it is true given my veterancy and my current rank, that if that comes down to an actual unauthorized conflict, I am a bigger dog than any one figure in that conflict. That's not something people want to raise my hand over. And that is ultimately why I'm after challenges, because to most Guru that do live here, I am the bigger dog. If you're after challenges, you need to be the bigger dog. Because if someone challenges the set, guess who has to go up and represent the set?
Yeah.
It's either Mother Larissa or me.
Yeah, I'd rather not involve us individual problems to escalate to a sub-problem.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm swinging my dick around when I shouldn't be, but all I needed to say was, if it becomes a dispute, which it looks like it will be, just come to me, because it's what I'm here for. Resolve the issue through challenge. It's how our society handles things, and it's a less lethal way to do it. Not to say that challenges don't come to the death sometimes, but I have not yet overseen a challenge that has. I shouldn't need to be said, but I prefer to keep Garo blood where it is rather than spill it on the ground. Over stuff like territory and pride and most wrongs, to be honest. If something is truly wrong, then I'll issue a punishment over it. And he does look a bit more glum when he says this. I do use the word glum because it's kind of sad. It kind of troubles him. Perhaps. I am sad to say that is something I have spilled blood over in the past. My foster and challenge was to execute someone. Well, it was part of it.
Oh.
And there was a kinfolk who had, well, been killing other kinfolk. They were a psychotic serial killer who'd been trying to destabilize and destroy the sect so they could gain more power. They were given the right of the Silver Death, which, if you don't know what that means, it basically means I cut off their head.
Oh. Oh.
It is not an honorable death. They do not go to a nice place when they die.
I don't imagine they would. No. Wow.
It's some of the small mercies, even our rights of. Perhaps that is the small comfort in knowing that death is not the end.
Yeah.
Because I know if I die, I've earned my place in my ancestral homelands, and hopefully you will too. But that kinfolk, she will not be going to Pinhome.
Oh.
She forsook her right to that when she did what she did, when she underwent that way. She will not be going to that place. So yeah. But usually I won't even do that. That's happened twice. And some Philodoxes have a much higher turnover rate than that.
Yeah.
They were one was a literal challenge, and to be honest, and I was following a judgment, I was not making a judgment. And it's one I do not believe I personally disagree with. Basically I had to defend this person from execution. I had to carry out the execution because, well, I was the defense, and I lost the case, so I had to carry out the sentence. It's my responsibility.
Yeah.
It's not something I feel good over. She was killed because she was blinded. They could not undo her blinding. So 10 not to fight sickness apparently means cut off my head, please.
Ugh.
And we knew that there was a way to revive it, it was just dangerous. But those in charge did not deem it worth a risk. So she had to die. And I had to be the one to issue the sentence, or rather execute the sentence. But ultimately, I can't always allow my personal ideology to get in the way of our laws, because it's not my job to twist and break the law and impose my gender on everybody else. I have responsibilities that go beyond what I want.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of how you're probably going to find a lot of stories as a Galliard. A lot of them you're not going to like, but you're probably going to have to sing them anyway.
Can't talk just about the good and the pleasantries. You have to also talk about the things that hurt.
Self-reflection isn't something that comes very naturally to our people. So I hope you give them a healthy dose of it, because they need it. God knows I need it.
It will be good. I will enjoy it. There'll be days in which I don't enjoy it.
Well, there will be days. Those days will exist, trust me. But there's still solace to be found in it.
Mm-hmm. When healing comes in all forms, some through telling a tale, some fighting a fight at all.
Sorry, did he say healing or killing?
Huh? Oh,
Did he say?
healing. Healing.
You'll say that's a very child of Gaius statement.
I may have hung around Moses Raya a lot. Like a lot.
It's not necessarily a bad thing.
No.
I feel like I phrased it in a bad way. I didn't mean that. My tone may have been a bit disdainful. I didn't mean that at all. Feel like there's very much a great truth to that statement.
Yeah. Like I said, he's good people. I enjoy sitting around listening to him talk.
But that is something that I should mention then, because I feel like that speaks to it in a way. Do you consider carefully what tribe you do wish to join?
Oh, well, I've always felt at home. Well, all my life I've always been, I guess, not so much poor, but most of my life I've been homeless. So for me, Bonars kind of seem like my people. I can't imagine myself with other tribes, but I guess it's not to say that I wouldn't, should another tribe call to me or find me more worthy to follow them instead.
It's not if they find you worthy; it's what you want to do. Ultimately, it is a choice that all Garu receive, and that not even the oldest Garu can force you from. No Garu can force you to join a specific tribe. If they do, then they are betraying the law of Garu in doing so. It is very explicitly a choice we were always given.
Yeah.
There may be expectations. I think a good example is myself. In many ways, I make a better glasswalker than I do a Silverfang. I did ultimately decide to join the Silverfangs because I honestly thought, because of the Silverfang's place in Garu society, I'd be able to make the most of a difference there. Because I did want to meet the standard that they claim to hold themselves to, and for those that don't, to hold them to it. But in terms of my actual practical skills, I'm much more closely aligned with Glasswalker, at least was. That's not quite so now. I remember when I could barely throw a punch. Wasn't too bad with a nightstick, but I was hardly some master duelist. Now, my preferred art is that of swordplay. Really need to get back into the gunplay, really. I'm better with my claws than I am with a gun now. It's kind of weird to think back on. But and I was tempted to join the Glasswalkers for a long time. I even asked around about the Fenrir, the Shadow Wolves, the Children of Gaia. I wanted to keep my options open.
Yeah.
But because of my lineage, I did have a very unique and privileged opportunity of having the Silverfangs as an option too. And I think that also played into it. I mean, not many people get this opportunity, not many Garu. I would almost feel like a waste to turn it down. Almost feel like I'm turning away from a gift I've been given. Or not a gift, an opportunity. I still have to earn my way in after all. I had to.
Yeah. Guess it's
I feel like I'd be letting people down if I turned away from that opportunity. As in it was opportunity. I guess I'm not communicating it properly. It was an opportunity, but also a responsibility, and I felt like that's what I would have been walking away from.
I can. Yeah, I should look around. Again, I've always heard about briefly of the tribes. I just thought to myself, I'll be what I've always been, which is not so much homeless, but you see that a lot of boners are best with others. Oh, one moment.
Yeah, and don't, and by no means do not let my words dissuade you from what you truly want. You've obviously already said that you're leaning towards the boners, and if that's what you want, then good for you. I'm certainly not going to dissuade you. My pet mate's a bone gnawer. The alpha of the set is a bone gnawer. Far be it from me to judge in any way whatsoever. But you do have other options. I just don't want you to think the bone gnawer is your only option, just because of your circumstances. Ultimately, it's unlikely the bone gnawers will turn you down either which way. It's quite literally their duty to not do so.
Sorry about that. But I guess I've always thought I'd be a boner. I've never really thought to look at the other tribes and see what else is out there. But it wouldn't never hurts to look, to ask questions, to see what else is out there. There's a lot.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot out there. And yeah, that's all I'd suggest. Just kind of, if nothing else, you'll at least learn a little bit about the tribes you ask about, and that in itself can be useful when you do join a tribe, because you'll know a little bit about those who aren't you, and that's come in handy for me.
Yeah. I would. Okay. That's a good. Thank you. Thank you very much for your wisdom.
Just speaking my mind.
You could call it speak your mind. I could see it as wisdom. for down the road knowledge to remember later. Getting to know those around me can better help get to know myself. Understanding why other tribes, how other tribes see the world, can possibly, help me better understand myself.
Very much agree. Yeah. So, Bruce told me, are you packing up then? With Haruka?
Yeah. Havika was looking for a pack. I'd been with him on a mission. He's actually one of the first people I met. He's really good people. It's really nice. Seems a little not closed off. He seems a little reserved, but so far I like him. Seems really nice. He let me borrow some money from him when we went to the hospital, so it's pretty cool in my book. But yeah, I don't know. Actually, I don't know who else is who else is wanting to join, but I know Tavica and myself. So
I need
find
to.
out.
Yeah. It's only me and Underdog in the Pride of the Sun right now. Still need a third or fourth person. Thinking maybe Roland, but I'd like to take him on a quick mission first or something. Test him out.
Yeah. Want to know who it is that you'll.
Yeah. Because I do want. I think 4 or 5 people would be good. Don't really know who the 5th person would be though. Got my eyes on a few people for the 4th person.
How many people are normally in a pack?
It's usually 3 minimum. Usually 4 or 5. But I've seen some. I remember at one point the Striders of Ice and Concrete when I was part of the one numbering around 6, 7.
Oh wow! What?
We were real hefty back in the day.
I imagine so.
You might have seen the reindeer shown on set. That was us. I actually joined in. I joined the pack in its twilight years, funnily enough. I even kept reindeer as a personal totem for a time when the pack broke up. But now I'm patronized by Lion. I wouldn't have it any other way. It's funny, really. Reindeer was all about endurance, and Lion's all about going on the attack. It's a nice change of pace to switch tack. Well, that's tautological.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, have you got any idea who your turn's gonna be?
Who my what? Oh
Yeah.
no! Oh gosh, I don't think we've. I think right now we're working on getting me to officially rank up to be guru in the nation. But I don't think I don't think we've gone so far as to find out or come together to talk about totems yet.
Harvick already cleared, isn't he? Harvick already cleared, isn't he?
Yes, he is, but I am yet not. So
That's fair. I might speak to Dorian, but I hear he fucking hates cops, so that'll be interesting. I might have to enter him in Krenos just to be sure it doesn't rip my head off or something.
oh, did he ever say why? Is it just a personal thing?
It's a sensitive subject, so I'm not going to speak on it.
Yeah. Fair. Fair.
I need to speak with him though.
Eh, you know.
But I need to make sure he doesn't try and kill me. The beast is, or the one's rage is a dangerous thing. He's an army, so
Oh, yeah. Don't wanna.
it's very easy. If he's exposed to something he truly hates, that's going to be something that, yeah, it's going to be difficult to contain. So we'll
Rather.
see. I guess we'll see, but I am fairly powerful. So hopefully he won't immediately kill me. I'd be very disappointed in myself in the afterlife if he did. Although I would also be impressed. Granted, I have people here. I'm not going to die.
Yeah, I'd rather we not end in bloodshed.
Mm.
Not without good. Oh, it's not ours. If we could help it.
I'm going to speak with him about his issue. I want to see if I can help him. Because I think out of all people in a position to help, I'm actually in the best, which is ironic given his disdain for
Well,
legal and law enforcement. Um,
well, we are stepmates, so that does give you at least one step in the right direction to being
God,
able to help.
he's going to fucking hate submission, but ultimately I'm not going to give him a pass just because he hates cops. That'd be a dick move. On the rest of you, not on him, on the rest of you. I'm giving him an exception because he's sad. Well, I mean, that's kind of sets a bad precedent. Imagine if you could walk up to me, sorry, I get to ignore the litany because I'm sad. That would be sad for me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that conversation is going to sting a bit for both of us, but
just a little bit.
fortunately, my policy will do it once and you can just ignore it the rest of the time. Because then you're technically in the boundaries of the law, and also because it just enables me to get on with business is, I think, helpful in that regard. I also need to speak to Harvicker and Moses because, yeah, that issue of the silver tusks. I think Moses made a pretty steep claim at me.
What was that?
He said something about me that was categorically untrue, and I took huge issue with it. But he said it in passion because it was to do with the silver tusks, and he was trying to take the moral high ground. I'm not sure he entirely succeeded, to be honest, but I do understand he was trying to be the better man, and I want to clear the air with him because I don't want to think because of that one issue that we should not be friends or anything. And Harvicker, I should probably clear the air with him too because the silver tusks were a bit. Well, blood eclipse was overly harsh on him. There was some confusion in communication, but it didn't warrant the response blood eclipse gave him. So yeah, I need to talk to them both. Dorian. You know anybody else on set? I know it's Crowcatcher.
Yeah, Milo. I don't think he's in a pack.
I'll have a chat with him then. Because I heard he did good work on that mission.
Yeah, he's definitely good people.
He's a Shatlord, isn't he?
Get a Fenris.
Get a Fenris, that's right.
Yeah.
I think it was a. No, it was. No, Stormeye was Shatlord, that's it.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm. For some reason. Yeah. Better.
Stormeye, Crow.
Okay. Was it because they were on the same mission? Were you all on that mission together?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I might have a chat with them all then. At least just to get to know them. It would be worth it, I think. After all, getting a lot by knowing you, so. this point, Jacob is like, he finished his steak like 40 minutes ago. Um, yeah, it's nice to meet you. Sorry I haven't really been around recently. I've been preparing for my Acro challenge. Hopefully I come back from it.
That's okay.
I'll be leaving in a couple days, so briefly. Again, hopefully I come back from it so you can see me again.
Yes.
But no, it's taken me all the way out of the continent, so I'll tell you about it if I succeed. But I think I'm going to be running into the descendants of my totem.
Oh. Are you going alone?
No. Underdog will be staying here mainly because the challenge is of such significant rank that it genuinely puts his life at such risk. It would be too dangerous for him to come as it is, which is a shame because I'd like to take my packmate with me. And he's a strong man, he's an iron, but such is the weight of the challenge. But no, I'll be receiving some assistance from my tribe.
Oh, good. I was worried.
Some girl will be coming down to help me along. I should tell you about the Pharaoh sometime.
Oh, yes. Have you met the peddler? Really pretty bird lady. Yeah.
Correct.
Huh? Yeah. Sorry. Totally forgot.
I remember the last time Crocs was on set.
Yeah. I finally met one.
Alright. Do you know where she is now? Like, is she on set still?
No. I met her here. She was upstairs. She told Havica and myself about the Yankee Stadium and Yankee Castle.
Alright. What's her name again?
Well, she goes by the peddler, but I don't actually know her name, unless that is her name.
That's fine. No. That's more than enough. No, I just want to have a name so I can ask her out because I want to see if I can get in touch with her. I've been in contact with Correct in the past. They've been incredibly helpful to our cause. So I would very much like to see that friendly relationship continue. You also heard of Swift Runner?
Huh?
Swift Runner.
Yeah.
Yeah? Oh, I'm surprised, really.
Wait, who is this?
Swift Runner.
I've heard the name. I don't believe I've met them.
Yeah, they run a restaurant in the city. No, they're the reason I actually retrieved. Well, we retrieved that bloody book. Basically, it was an exchange of sorts. They would help us out in exchange. We get them the book.
Okay.
Might seem shady giving a book of worm secrets to a Thera whom we don't entirely know particularly well, but it is actually one of their specialties. Not the one, knowledge and information. Getting it to the right people at the right time. Kind of like the cracks in a way. Yeah, I know a little bit about the Pharaoh. Not a whole ton, to be fair. But I know a bit. Even about the ones that are no longer here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'll find some time to speak with you on that at some point. So, there's some interesting stories. I think I'm going to run into some Simba.
Not like Simba from the lion. Wait, I got this. It's a cat. Is that a
This
cat?
is a were lion.
Okay. Well, that would be rude to call him a cat. Okay.
So it'll be interesting to see how they react to me. Granted, I predict it will be poorly, given how our relationships with the Pharaoh traditionally go. I feel like the Scepter of the Green is a rather pleasant exception to the rule. Unless you're Korax. Everybody seems to like the Korax for some reason.
Probably because they're nice.
They're pretty chill people. It also helps that they can fly away from us, so we can't just like claw at them. That's probably why. We were probably forced to like them. That just seemed very Koraxy. But yeah. I am glad though that relationships with the Pharaoh are better here than basically anywhere else I've been. Apart from maybe the Amazon.
Why would anyone go to the Amazon? They're cutting down all the trees.
Oh, well, that's kind of why. The Amazon is a huge fucking war zone.
No. Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, no, the entire sept got pushed there once by the ex-king, who then got removed by our truth catcher, and he became the new king because he recognized that entire edict was just basically a means to punish us for kicking the ass of the Silverfangs.
Oh.
Not even the Silverfangs, like not even my tribe, because I was on the other side, and other Silverfangs were on the other side. So it's really just a minority of pricks that happen to be a part of my tribe got their asses handed to them, and our king, well, our former king, took exception to that. But that got handled by another Silverfang, so good for us, I guess. We're very bad at internal affairs, I found. Seems to spill over onto everybody else.
It seems there's a lot of internal things and cogs and politics that go into things that I guess the higher up you go, the more you know.
The only time I've seen internal dispute between tribes spill out onto other tribes, apart from my tribe, maybe it's because our tribe are the ones that are traditionally politically the most prominent, powerful, and generally in charge. So when we do things, it tends to have a ripple effect as a result of that position. I mean, I guess if a king makes an order, then it's always going to make a wave. But perhaps just in general. I guess it's something to consider. That's one reason why I try to be even-handed, because if that is the truth of the matter, I need to not make mistakes. But yeah. I suppose it's more about position than anything else. But no, the Amazon had quite a lot of Pharaoh with the Garu. We had Korax, we had Bastat, we had Makole. It was actually quite nice to see us all in it together, even if it was quite literally the World War One of our situation. Like, you couldn't be followed back to Sept. If you did, I'm pretty sure the elders the elders and battle masters of those septs would have that person killed.
Well, yeah, you can't bring people home,
Yeah, you can't be followed even by accident. You always have to be double checking your tracks. Forget living a nice life in the city. You're going to be on Sept 24/7, and then when you're going out, there's going to be a rotation of forces. You're always performing some sort of military action, be it defensive, offensive, just mundane patrols, forging weapons, cleaning weapons, maintaining weapons, fueling talons, creating fetishes, something. There's always something, just because it's such an intense fight.
Yeah.
But it's a great way. I mean, it's a great way to just understand perhaps the true scale and severity of the conflict, because that is our war at its most fierce. I can't think of a place more savage than the Amazon, and goddamn, it's taking not just a legend, but all of the Afros and Elders, those places vote the Amazon can muster to keep that war going. That it is. And yet somehow they've done the impossible. No one expects them to hold for even a second longer than they actually do.
Gosh.
If I recall way back when, before I was a guy, the Amazon was just one giant. I mean, I make it sound like a clusterfuck now, but back then it was a mess. It was only when Gogol Fangs first stepped in and took charge. He brought that war back from the brink.
Wow. That's the gotta find this. That's the he's like the Mother Larissa. He's legendary. He's correct.
Mother Larissa is an older OC. Actually, technically, Mother Larissa in canon is an Afro, not even an elder, but I believe in this canon she's an elder.
Okay.
No, Gogo is even more powerful than Mother Larissa, and that's saying something.
Wow.
He's certainly of more prestige, but then again, how many legends exist in the world?
Yeah. How do you?
I've only ever met two. One was Golgol, and that wasn't even really a proper introduction. That was, I saw him once. Because he's got more important shit to be doing than talking to some random player who's getting thrown to the Amazon because someone got pissed off at him because of politics.
Yeah.
The other was a complete, again, there's another complete accident. It was actually during Hera's Redeeming Daughters Afro Challenge. We met the Margrave.
Oh. Oh wow. There's a lot going on here. It's a lot.
Albeit briefly. But I mean, I think that's the thing, right? That's how powerful just a mere statement of a legend is. It's just meeting them as an event. Like, a 5-second exchange is important. Like, it sticks in your mind.
Yeah. You don't forget these things.
Anyhow, I've kept you long enough.
It's quite all right. I enjoyed meeting you and catching up and learning more about you and about this grand world. And everything that's involved in it.
There's yeah, a lot has happened in 3 years. Anyhow, it was a pleasure to meet you, and I wish you all the luck in your adventure rite of passage and your pack of vodka.
Thanks. I hope to see you when you come back from your mission. I hope that it goes well. And
Hopefully.
that yeah.
I'll see you around. He'll get up and he'll begin walking away.
Oh, say goodbye and
He's
watch
even
you
paid
go.
your tab. Mainly because he's a sort of fan, so he has the monies. All the monies. Hashtag Silverfang perks.
Oh yes.
But yeah, with that, I think can end the scene there. Thank you, players for playing. Thank you for watching. We'll see you all next time. Goodbye.
Bye.